He's Marler, and this is his music show.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome to another craptastic episode of the Marler Music Show. My name is David. Hope everyone is doing very well out there today, no matter where you are or what you're doing. Today, we're going to continue with a Kiss theme I've been doing here recently. And this one I thought I would kind of give my opinion of the ranking of the 5 Kiss guitarists that have been in the band. Lead guitarists, not counting Paul Stanley here. We're going just with Ace Frehley, Vinnie Vincent, Mark St. John, Bruce Kulick, and Tommy Thayer. All of these guys have contributed to the band, I think, in very important ways over the years. Some a lot more than others, obviously. But this is one of those things that has been a very kind of heated discussion point, maybe amongst Kiss fans. Definitely something that's been discussed a lot amongst Kiss fans, and so I thought I would throw in my take on that and let you know where my ranking is on these. So here we go. So first of all, we're going to start off with number 5, and this one here I think with most Kiss fans would probably be obvious, and that is Mark St. John. Mark St. John was one of those guys that kind of like was a flash in the pan, a fart in the wind kind of situation. He came in the band after Vinnie Vincent left after the Lick It Up tour, recorded Animalize with them, had some pretty decent solo work on there, I feel like. Started going on tour with them, and not many shows into the tour, he was diagnosed with his hand condition. I can't remember what the name of it is, but where his hand just puffed up like that big around. I actually, in my old room when I was a kid, I had a poster of this version of the band. I think it was an Animalized photo shoot. And in the picture, you could see his hand puffed up really bad. It was just swollen almost double to the size. And so, unfortunately, it didn't allow him to continue touring with the band. Bruce Kulick came in as a fill-in the beginning. And then when time came for Mark to try to get back, he just couldn't do it, and they left Bruce on full time, and the rest is history, as they say. Mark at number 5, and it's hard to not have him there because you just don't know how he would have done with the band moving forward. If he had been on Asylum or anything after that, what it would have sounded like, if the sound would have been any different or whatever. So it's kind of a shame we never got to see how that was going to turn out. However, I do feel like that it turned out pretty well for him in this unfortunate circumstance. So anyway, Mark St. John is at number 5. So my criteria in ranking these 5 were, I took in consideration raw talent and musical talent. I think those two things are a little bit different between raw talent and musical talent, influence on the band, and songwriting abilities. And I think each one of these brought certain of these to the table. Some just a couple, some all. So it's just kind of a mix right there, and my order kind of reflects that. So having said that, we're going to move on to number 4, and that is going to be Vinnie Vincent. Vinnie was a strange situation here where he came in at a time that Ace had just left the band. Even though on the Creatures album cover, Ace was on the cover, but didn't play a lick on the thing. Vinnie did most of that. He came in under those circumstances, and under the circumstance of having to put on a different makeup, it was just a weird situation for him. Vinnie, I've always thought, very, very talented, very technical guitar player, fantastic songwriter in my opinion. He did a lot of the writing of the songs on Lick It Up, on Creature of the Night, and a few things on Revenge. Very, very good. But his style of guitar playing, especially solos, was just not anywhere close to what Kiss fans were used to hearing from Ace, and not even close to what a lot of fans heard moving forward from Bruce Kulick. And I just don't feel like that he fit the band long term, and I think that's why Paul and Gene decided it was time to let him go. I felt like he was a good guitarist. He had a lot of demons that were, getting in the way. But a lot of his solos, and quite honestly, the two albums he was on, I think are two of their best albums ever. But when it came down to solos, and if you listen to some of the live recordings of him on tour with them, some of the stuff just didn't sound right, and he didn't even come close to doing a lot of Ace's solos, and it became kind of unlistenable. But having said that, very good songwriter, talented musician. He just couldn't keep out of his own head, I guess, and let things kind of transform the way they could have been to make it a little more successful in Kiss. So he's at number 4. Moving on now to number 3. And with number 3, I'm going to go with Tommy Thayer. Tommy's a guy who has gotten a lot of flack over the past 20 plus years for being in Kiss as the Space Man. Ace was the Space Ace. They've named Tommy as the Space Man. And donning that makeup and doing a lot of Ace's signature moves and certain things in concert. And I never have agreed with him doing the rocket side of the guitar like Ace used to do. He obviously doesn't do the smoking guitar. In fact, I think that's something Ace only knows how to do. But doing that, and I've seen him a couple times, and he's done Shock Me, and it's like, okay, I respect the guy. He came into a kind of a damned if he does, damned if he don't situation. He was a hired gun pretty much to come in there, put on Ace's makeup, and continue the Four Faces version of the band with Eric and the Peter makeup. But in my mind, he's done a very good job. Listen, supposedly when the reunion tour came about, Tommy was the one that sat down with Ace and went over old guitar parts and everything to make sure he had them down and sounded the way they were supposed to. And I give Tommy one thing: he was in a couple of Kiss cover bands, and he plays pretty much everything note for note the way that Ace did, and even a little fresher. The one thing that's missing, I think, with him and live is a little bit of Ace's improvisations, but that's just more to me goes towards the technique versus just the musical integrity of the actual song. And I think Tommy does a great job as far as the musical integrity of the song. He has helped keep this band alive for the past 20-something years. I don't know if they could have brought in any other guitarists except for maybe Bruce Kulick to have kept this band together the past 20 years since Ace finally left for the last time. I'm not even sure if Ace had remained in the band that they would still be together without having brought in Tommy. So, Tommy gets a lot, like I said, he gets a lot of flack for it, but he's a very solid guitar player. And for what Kiss has needed the past 20 years, he has nailed it for them. And I look at him and think, as a Kiss fan, thank God they did that. It's given me a lot more opportunities to see them live over the years, and it turned out to be a good move, so I've got him at number 3. At number 2, now, this is tough. The last two we've got here between Ace and Bruce is tough for me. I debated over this, and a lot of people are probably going to really hit me for this one. But in my opinion, number 2 is Ace. Sorry, folks. Sorry. I know. Y'all are probably going to kill me for saying that Ace is the second best guitarist Kiss has ever had, but hear me out. Just hear me out. Here's the thing about Ace. Ace was flashy. Ace is cool. Ace, very unique sound when he first hit the scene. Very unique sound. His sound, in a lot of ways, shaped the overall sound of the band when they first came out. Good songwriter. Some of the best songs, in my opinion, Kiss ever did were ones that he sang, which weren't many, or ones that he wrote. Incredible songwriter. incredible guitar player, very flashy. However, consistency as years went on was not his strong point. He became kind of sloppy. I know it was because of him drinking a lot and everything, but it made it, a lot of times it made their live shows a little less listenable. And if you even go back to the reunion years, if you listen to stuff from the beginning of that and then go forward, and start listening to stuff off the farewell tour, it becomes really sloppy and very inconsistent. And, technically, musically, he's very good, but I don't think he's technically, musically, the very best guitar player they've ever had. But he's still ace. And he's still, look, I would take, if the original four could have made it work from 1996 to now, I would still take that over any lineup they've ever had, because it is the original guys, but it just couldn't happen. And I think his inconsistencies contributed to that. But having said all that, he's still a very good guitar player, and I have a lot of admiration for the guy. And he's just ace. He's just cool. But for me, he's at number 2. And then finally, number 1, if you've been playing along here, doing your math, process elimination, however you want to look at it, that would bring us to number 1 being Bruce Kulick. Go ahead. Get the boos out of the way. Boo. Yeah, okay. All right. Sorry, guys. Bruce, has a history that goes back to the band to the late 70s. His brother Bob played on Paul's solo album, and he played on a lot of the tracks that were on the Fourth Side of Alive 4. Bruce was kind of around or whatever. I think there's a story where he could have joined the band back when Vinnie did. I'm not exactly sure. And I know a lot of stories about Kiss, but I can't remember how that exactly played out, is why he didn't. But, fast forward a few years, Mark St. John comes in, gets sick, and here comes Bruce, right? And Bruce comes in, did a pretty admirable job. Now, I will say the first couple of years that Bruce was a guitar player for Kiss, the sound was a little too flash and whatever for me. Of course, they were trying to be kind of a hair metal band back then too, so that contributed to that a lot. But for me, once you got past Asylum and got into Crazy Nights, Hot in the Shade even, which doesn't have a lot of good songs, but there's some good guitar work on it from him, and Revenge, and then look at Carnival of Souls and the stuff that he put on there showed how versatile he was. He progressed as a guitar player 100-fold from the Animalize tour to the time that he left the band, or was kicked out of the band, or asked to leave, whatever, when they got back with Ace and Peter. The Unplugged stuff. He was technically so good. He just became so much better of a guitar player as the years went on. You're looking at a span of about 11 years there, and he just became great all the way through, and better and better and better and better. And I still think one of the most solid sounding lineups they ever had was the Revenge era with him and Eric Singer in the band. They were tight. They were playing things like they're supposed to be. A lot of Ace's solos he didn't quite do the way Ace would. And I don't know, maybe that's because he couldn't. Because, like I said, Ace had this flair and flash about him, and little intricacies he did that made his solos a lot more, they just transcended what everybody else that tried to copy that did or tried to emulate it. So Bruce didn't really do that a whole lot. But a lot of them he put his own touches on and made them that version of the band's version of that song, which almost became classics within themselves. You look at some of the stuff that's on Alive 3, different sounding but very good. And he was just able to adjust better to being in Kiss, I think, over the long haul than anybody else had, except for maybe Tommy. But Tommy, that version with Tommy and Eric has only put out 2 albums, and 2 not very good albums. Bruce put out, 5 or 6 with Kiss, and he to me, he got better and better with each album. And I just think because of that, his technical ability, his writing, and what he brought to the band. He's the best guitarist they've ever had. Sorry guys, I know a lot of people are gonna kill me for this and say it was Ace, and hey, your opinion is more than welcome, but once again, this is just my opinion. Bruce Kulick, best guitarist Kiss has ever had. So that's it, guys. That's all I'm gonna say about all that. That's my list of how they rank. Let me know what you think, man. Let me know what your order of these are, how you think they rank. If you would change anything, which I'm sure you would, where you'd shake it up at, comment below, let me know. I'll respond back. I always enjoy interacting with my viewers. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, so you can be alerted when content comes out immediately, and you don't have to wait around to take a sleeping pill to go to sleep. Just turn this video on, you'll probably be out in 15 seconds, guys. So anyway, I'm going to sign off. And until I see you in the next video, I will say as I always do, be good to each other, be good to yourselves, and life will be good to you. Peace.